Okay friends, we've all been a little bit too dependent on Tailwind.CSS. Now with the new CSS nesting features, we can move away from it. So let's just show you the media query here. If we go and drag the screen, we'll see that the text disappears. That's an inline nested CSS media query. So if you go to the common here, the nav, we can see that media query is now nested, which is just a killer feature because normally you have these media statements all over the place. We're also taking advantage of nesting of other parts of it. We also have the ability to theme here. Tailwind has all these themes, so we can do it all within Vanilla.CSS. And these are not using hash valued CSSs. These are basically calculations that we do. So if we go into here, we can see that there is all these variables for things like the body, the background, the nav, the buttons. We also have a light and dark theme, which are basically mirror images of each other, except that there's an inverse direction for the different colors. And we see here that also the media queries, we don't even bother having to nest things because you can put a media query on the actual, depending on conditional loading of the CSS. So if we look at the dark theme here, we can see that there's no nesting in here, which is also nice to read. So the primary color is used for example, the buttons. So if we just, or even just the text like that. So we can go into here and we can see here that we're using this button, the H1 here. We have using the primary color. Okay, so the actually that's on the body. That's where that's getting its color from. And we can adjust that primary color actually just from here alone. So if we go into the primary color, we can see here that we can modify things. So we can just go here and change this. You can see that the color is going to change. Now if we make the lightness function the same on the primary and secondary, well actually the text won't be visible. So if we make this also the secondary color plus 40, there'll be no difference between each other because they both have the same base saturation and base hue that gets appended to the HTML head HTML tag, and we'll see that they become invisible. So that's just so easy to maintain. So say you have some client that comes along and says they don't quite like this color for their red theme. Maybe they want it a bit more orange or something like that. So we can go to the base for the red color here and just maybe make it a bit 10 or something like that on the dark theme. And you can see here now if we go to red, it looks a bit more orangey. Very powerful. I mean, Tailwind, I don't know if Tailwind can do that. You still have to basically specify all the theme colors in different places. So that's it, friends. In terms of the actual some of the HTML, we actually got some Tailwind type classes here, but I use these so much, but I don't need Tailwind for this. I can just create a utility CSS and add my favorite Tailwind style things in here, and these are basically the ones I use the most. And then all the components are defined in the CSS, and this is quite powerful because normally within you make components from these just to get all the styles localized, but with the CSS nesting, that's kind of redundant. So this is like your component now. So instead of having to create an extra file to wrap all this functionality in Tailwind, or you just go use apply statements, which is another syntax, don't bother using it, just use it like this. So anyway, friends, I hope that frees up more of your brain. You don't have to maintain Tailwind dependencies. You don't have to teach people Tailwind. People that know CSS well will do fine. So this is how it's rolling, folks. Thanks for watching. Any comments, criticisms, likes, please share in the comments below. Appreciate it. Bye bye.